Fairy Tale Chapter 520. To sum up this chapter, it wasn't really a bad chapter, however, it wasn't a good chapter either, in my personal opinion. There's a lot about this chapter that just doesn't sit well with me at all, but that doesn't mean that I do believe that this chapter was horrible. When it comes to the scene between Wendy and Urza, to say the very least, it was an extraordinarily touching scene. Knowing Urza's character from an emotional standpoint, to be completely honest, I'm genuinely surprised that she didn't shed a single tear at the sight of her own mother killing herself and on the ground dead one night, Eileen Bell Sirion. However, it still was very touching to see Wendy and Urza actually talking to one another about what they were talking about. Not too sure how Wendy actually gathered the strength overall to make her way towards Urza, but that's very minuscule in regards to a flaw with this scene. Very touching scene nonetheless. Especially when Wendy starts crying when she found out that Master Makarov died on the battlefield. That really tugged at my heartstrings right there. Overall, there isn't much of a problem with this section of the chapter, and if anything, this was a pretty good section. Continuing on though, the whole thing with Natsu. Yeah, that really does not sit well with me at all for this chapter. Essentially, to sum it up, we have Igneel and Natsu in Natsu's dreamlike state, and Natsu's heart, whatever you want to refer to it as, and Natsu actually questions if he's gonna die, which Igneel actually responds telling Natsu to choose between dragon or demon. We then kind of see a flashback to some panels that we saw during Tartarus back when Zer said the prosperity of the demon E.N.D boiled down to the choice of Natsu's applying to this scene right here. And with this question, Natsu responds that he is Natsu Dragneel and that he is neither demon nor dragon, but that he is human. And this is where the problem arises with this chapter, at least for me. We see the demon and the dragon seed both decay and whatnot, so essentially, what we have here is one singular question swinging the entire fate as Natsu. We had so much angst surrounding Natsu, and it's underwhelming to say the very least, seeing as Natsu simply had to answer a question, and we saw the seeds break in return. From what I can tell, the most hyped up thing in this entire arc at this current point in time is completely gone as a result of Natsu's answer, and that being E.N.D. Honestly, there were so many better ways that this chapter could have been handled, and I feel as if the hero Mashima kind of just dug himself a hole where he was struggling to get rid of E.N.D. for plot convenience. Overall, I feel as if this whole thing was stupid. I'm kind of just at a loss for words. E.N.D, bro. Oh my god, Hiro Mashima, you just really kind of fucked up here. Continuing on, we see Natsu wake up with a jolt. Some dialogue between Natsu and Lucy and everyone else takes place, and actually during this dialogue, Natsu basically solidifies that for the most part, he is completely fine, and that E.N.D will not be making a reappearance, which again, does not sit well with me. After all of this, considering the fact that Urza actually beat Eileen at the end of this chapter, we see the lost spell of Universe 1 actually being dispelled, which is something that I predicted for a very long time, along with a couple of my friends, and everyone in return actually returns to where they were at the beginning of this arc. Apparently, we see Natsu, Lucy, and Happy in Lucy's bedroom, which goes to show this. Honestly, though, I question why they didn't return to where they were prior to Universe 1 being in effect. I honestly feel as if the reasoning behind this not taking place, which, let's be honest here, if Universe 1 were to be dispelled, you would think that everyone would return to where they were just before Universe 1 taking place, but I still do believe that it may simply just be for plot convenience. But hey, what are you gonna do? The chapter ends with a pretty badass, not gonna lie, an absolutely badass Natsu, Lucy, and Happy page, and from this point on, we're gonna be resuming the war, and chapter 521 is entitled The Strongest Wizard. And yo, the strongest wizard, first of all, I think I know who it's going to be referring to with Universe 1 being reversed. Oh my god, I'm going to say that from a chapter prediction, and if I'm correct, chapter 521 will be fucking hype, yo. Overall, really, I'd give this chapter a 6 out of 10. As I said before, not a bad chapter, but as well in no ways is a really good chapter, but I do have a really good feeling that this chapter will lead into many good chapters of Fairy Tail. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for my review of Fairy Tail chapter 520, Dragon, Demon, or apparently Human. Now, if you guys enjoyed, remember to drop this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and peace.